Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Marriage, Money, and Mindset. We're your host, I'm Jared.
And I'm Alexis.
Welcome back to another episode of Marriage, Money, and Mindset. We are here to do episode 32. Episode 32 of our channel. Before we kick it off, we want to say thank y'all to the new subscribers out there for subscribing to the channel. Thank you to the existing subscribers for returning to our channel. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Click on that little button on your phone or your computer, whatever device you're watching us on. We are Marriage, Money, and Mindset. We come to you every week, Monday at 5 p.m., dropping content in reference to those three topics, marriage, money, and mindset. So, anything else you want to say before we kick it off?
If you guys tuned in last week, we talked about getting out of survival mode.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good one. If you have not seen it, go back and watch it. We talked about 4 different modes. We came up with an analogy. So go ahead and watch that if you have not. Tell us which mode you're in. Yeah,
we touched on basically, as an individual, you have that stranded mode, which is, well, just go back and watch it. Yeah. 4 different modes, like she said. Yeah. Okay. Going from stranded to yacht mode.
Exactly.
So, you start off stranded mode, then you go to yacht mode. So if y'all don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch that episode, right?
Right. Yeah. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about retirement, and more specifically, the age of retirement. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to get into it?
Yeah, man. So, guys, retirement is one of the things that we all strive for in life. We're striving for it currently. We're not retired yet, but we're on that journey, right? So, we want to touch on some, give y'all some tips, some guides, a guide as to how you should prepare for retirement. Because retirement, one thing you need to know about retirement, guys, is not an age.
Right.
Retirement is when your passive income exceeds your expenses, right? I actually got a little quote real quick before we kick it off. I want to reference real quick. This is something I discovered a while back, when we started our journey. So I want to just read this to y'all real quick. So retirement dreams shouldn't be based on reaching an arbitrage age, but rather should be based off of passive cash flow. Anyone can retire at any age as long as their passive streams of income covers their living expenses. So, in other words, that's getting out of the rat race. That's Robert Kiyosaki, right? Retirement, guys, and it's what you define as retirement, I guess. Like for us, that's what retirement means. No longer having to go exchange time for money. So we want to touch on, 6 reasons why we feel like people may potentially not
put emphasis or put effort into
the retirement
or planning for retirement.
Right. And then also 6 ways you can plan for retirement. So that's what today's episode is basically going to be about. So we're going to touch on the reasons we feel like people aren't, and then the ways you can. So let's talk about it. Let's go through the first 6 reasons why people probably not preparing or planning for retirement. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So the first one being procrastination. So some people just put it off. They put it on the back burner. They feel like they have time. Like I'm 29 going on 30 this year. So some people my age or even younger or some your age, they just feel like
that mean dog.
They just feel like, I have time. Yeah, you are young.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Like I'm old or something. Keep it going.
Hey, anyways, they just feel like, well, I'm nowhere near 60 or 70, so I have time.
Yeah. You don't want to delay it, especially if you're in a situation, man. I met a coworker. Let's talk about coworkers. Man, I was very impressed with this guy. He's, young. Seems to be very responsible with his income. He's investing.
And he has a plan.
He seems to have a plan, a lot further ahead than what I was at his age, and that's one thing I commended him on was like, man, taking advantage of while the getting's good. He's in a position where he's making the income. He has the resources coming in,
and he's sacrificing certain things,
right,
such as like living and creating a family. These are things that he has not done yet.
Right.
So he can just capitalize on planning for his future.
And also, I want to touch real quick, when you're younger, you don't have to be as aggressive. Like, for instance, you know, we'll talk about myself real quick. You know, when I started my career, man, I was 22. I became a law enforcement officer at 22 years old. Now I'm 37, right? But it took me about almost 8 to 9 years before I got serious about investing. Like, the very first 8 to 9 years, man, I was splurging. I was having fun. I had a couple cars, brand new home that I built from the ground up. Man, I was like, I look good, but I was checking it. I was broke, man. Honestly, let's just be real. I look good, but I was broke.
And that's how many of us are. I mean, we out here stunting and looking good.
Right.
We have all the new gadgets and what is it called?
I mean, all the liabilities. Things. You know, new cars, whatever. You know.
Right.
I mean, and again, guys, you know, procrastination is something you don't want to do. We don't want to stay too long on this, but just know that don't procrastinate. Like, if you're bringing in the resources to invest, you need to start investing, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about another reason that holds people back. Okay. What's the second reason?
The second one is lack of financial literacy. So you started with Robert Kiyosaki. For those who don't know who that is, go look him up.
Yeah, he's a great
resource along with Marriage, Money, and Mindset.
That's right.
Lack of financial literacy. So some people, they just don't have the wisdom or the knowledge of planning for their future, or they don't know the importance of retirement planning.
Yeah. Just like you have to invest in your financial future, you also have to invest in your education, right? So understanding the nomenclature of finance.
Whether that's time or money that you're investing.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, as you can see, we have a library back here of, you know, a lot of financial literacy books and personal development. Like, that's helped us in our journey, by the way. You know, investing in your wisdom, and you can do them both simultaneous. Like, even if you're investing into an asset that you're not 100% sold on, that's okay. I mean, because a lot of times you learn in the process of investing too. You might learn more. Yeah, you may learn more when you're actually investing versus
sitting on the sidelines.
Reading. Well, just reading and like procrastinating, missing out on gains. You know, so you can do them both simultaneous, but you definitely need to, you know, get yourself educated and understand financial literacy, guys. You know, so that's a journey I'm still on, by the way. I don't know everything, but I know quite a bit. But that's something I'm always going to be a student. So try to have that mindset. You know, always try to be a student when it comes to financial literacy, right? So let's talk about the third reason why people may be procrastinate or not planning for retirement. Let's talk about the third reason.
So they only focus on the short term. So they focus and prioritize their immediate needs and desires over their long-term financial goals. So what we always say is you can do both because we invest heavily, but we still set aside some play money.
Well, again, that goes back to our episode we did on managing finances in a marriage. You know, we talked about how much you should allocate, for leisure. Right. So, you know, investing isn't one of them things you compromise. That's something that you should have set as a priority and allocate as much as possible, you know, and sacrifice, guys. Sacrifice sometimes, you know, you don't even have to have leisure. That's leisure. That's what it's like. Leisure is something that you don't have to do, but, you know, I get it, you know, and your leisure can be as exotic or as, you know, conservative as you want.
As you can afford.
Yeah, you know, just don't exceed the amount that you should, you know, be allocating to that category in life. But yeah, you know, so short term, you know, focus on your long-term goals, guys. You know, the short-term things that come up, you know, your immediate needs and desires, you know, that can be put on hold for later in life, you know. You know, like even with myself, you know, there's some things in life that I have that I want to have right now, but I'm sacrificing not to right now because I have our priority is to invest and to make sure that when we get these things, we're not having to work for these things. Our assets are paying for these things. So that's the whole point, right? So let's talk about number 4.
Okay, so the fourth one is unexpected life events. So you guys know job loss, family emergencies, COVID-19, medical expenses, things come up. So those things can disrupt or delay your retirement planning process.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes things happen, guys, that you're not expecting. That's why you want to have that cushion to kind of weather that storm, because you don't ever want these things to affect your investment goals. And I get it, sometimes, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate things do occur. But if you can, try to put yourself in a position where you're not compromising investing for your retirement.
I mean,
and it goes back to sacrifice, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, think about the bills that you pay. Regardless of what's going on in your life, you figure out a way to keep a roof over your head. You figure out a way to eat every day. So figure out a way to pay you first. Whenever you're doing those other things, you're paying other people first. You're putting money in other people's pockets. So why not put money in your own pocket first? Yeah,
I agree. That's what we try to do, at least, man. We always try to pay ourselves first. And again, guys, we're not irresponsible, by the way. We pay our bills, we always make sure we pay our bills, but we pay ourselves first. So let's talk about number 5. The fifth reason why people potentially may not be planning or investing for their retirement is over-resilience on Social Security. That's an interesting. I'm sorry. Over-reliance on Social Security. Right.
Rely too much.
Yeah. So some individuals may assume that Social Security benefits will be sufficient for retirement, overlooking the need for additional savings. So look, guys, let me tell y'all something real quick. Social Security is a pool of funds going into, your funds that if you invest in Social Security, it's basically your funds are going into a pool where everyone else is contributing to that pool. Now, if I'll tell y'all to go to usdebtclock.org, I think is what it's called, or just Google search US Debt Clock. They'll show you on there how much money is currently in Social Security. Put it like this: there's more money going out than going in, which is not good. That means there's a deficit, eventually, not a surplus. It's on track to deplete unless the government decides to do something different. So for all you out there that are currently getting Social Security, I mean, hey, enjoy it while it lasts. Now, people in my generation, we may not get it if you're paying into it, right? But that's one thing we're not relying on. Whether it's there or whether it's not, we're not relying on it.
We don't even count it.
No, if it's there, cool, it's icing on the cake. It's not the cake, right? So one thing you don't want to, in my opinion, rely on is Social Security. I don't believe it was designed for you to have solely to rely on your security in your future. But
also, I mean,
it was supposed to supplement your income.
Yes. And we died off earlier back then whenever it was created. Right. So people are living to like 90s, 100s.
Right. Anything from the government, I'm going to just be honest, man, for me, this is me personally speaking, I don't want to personally rely on anything from the government. I want to be self-sufficient.
Why let anybody have that much power over you?
Right. Like, don't let them tell you how much they're going to feed you. That's all I'm saying. Now, if it's there, cool. But that's just how we look at that, right? So let's talk about the last one.
Okay, the last one is fear or avoidance.
Yeah.
So facing the reality of aging and retirement can be daunting, leading some people to avoid planning or deny the need to prepare adequately.
Yeah, man. Look, hey, we did the math, and man, it's you'll be shocked at how much, if you sit down and really do the math and understand how much it takes to be just to live on the same lifestyle currently that you may have.
Because things are going up. They only going up.
Yeah.
So you have to account for that as well.
Right. But it's a lot of things later in life that you can't predict. There could be some health issues that may occur. An issue with a family member may occur. There's so much that you can't see, right? So you want to make sure that you're preparing for these unforeseen things in life, right? You never know what life is going to throw at you, so you want to be prepared as much as possible. So you definitely don't want to avoid not planning for retirement, because look, guys, we're getting older. Everybody, I just got older just within this 5 or 10 minutes of doing this video, right? Like every day I'm getting older in life, right? So try to take care of your body, but man, we're aging. This body is depreciating in value. You know what I'm saying? So, man. So just know that one day you're going to get old, guys. and you want to have the resources to sustain living
the lifestyle that you want.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Preferably not having to rely on entities,
any outside.
Yeah, that's just our opinion. All right, so we talked about a lot of reasons why people may not be planning for retirement. So let's talk about how to plan for retirement. So let's start with number one. We got 6 reasons for y'all. Talk about number one.
All right, so like we've hit on already, you need to start saving early.
Yeah.
So whether that's in a 401k, an IRA, which there's different types, or like a pension plan, just do something.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing, for all y'all out there that are parents, man, hey, so you can invest for y'all's children,
Right.
Seriously, like get them
started at least.
Look up UTMA or UGMA accounts, which is a custodial account through a brokerage. That's something you can invest in for your children. If you have children,
that on a previous episode as well.
Yeah, if you have children working, you can invest in a Roth IRA for them. So you don't have to wait until you're making income, like as through a job or something like that. Parents, you can invest for your children. But yeah, like she mentioned, as far as IRAs, like a Roth IRA, it's a great individual Roth individual retirement account. I highly recommend everybody get a Roth IRA, man. You have to consider doing that, because if the question is asked, do you think taxes are going to be higher by the time you hit 59 and a half, or lower by the time you hit 59 and a half?
What y'all think?
More than likely your taxes are going to be higher. Exactly. Taxes are going to be higher at 59 and a half for you.
Right.
So the reason I mentioned taxes is because at 59 and a half with a Roth IRA, you don't have to pay any taxes on that account once you start withdrawing those funds. You pay the taxes on the money post before it goes in, and the gains grow tax free. So definitely look into a Roth IRA account if you don't have one. Roth IRA account, right? So number 2, invest wisely. Let's talk about the second reason. The second way you can plan for retirement. So diversify investments to balance risk and return over the long term. So you want to be diversified, maybe have some real estate, maybe some stocks, maybe some cryptocurrency, things of that nature, right? Now, what you invest in, we recommend you do your own research. We don't want to tell y'all what to invest in. We're not financial advisors. But we have done some episodes pertaining to the stock market where we touched on, how to look at what to invest in, what to consider, right? Yeah. I forget the name of that episode, but just look in our video history, you'll see it. Yeah.
We have separate folders. We have a marriage, money, and a mindset folder. So it's 3 different folders. So it's kind of easy to keep organized.
Right. So
that third one is set retirement goals. So we talked about that earlier, kind of like planning backwards. What type of lifestyle do you want to have in your future? Whatever that looks like, work the numbers backwards so that you can know how much it's going to cost to have that lifestyle, what you need to be bringing in.
Right. I had a conversation, Phenomenal Life, I think, not Phenomenal Life, the Marriage Club with a guy. And one thing I told him was, know what your goals are prior to, how you're going to invest, because knowing what your lifestyle is going to be in the future, or what you want your lifestyle to be in the future, you have to kind of, figure out what that's going to cost, and then reverse engineer that back to where you currently are, and be realistic about how you're going to get there. So we've done that. On occasions, several occasions. I did it today. Just playing around, looking at where we are currently, being conservative with the math, working it out, seeing what we could potentially look like on a higher side and on a more conservative side. So kind of ballparking where we potentially could be when it comes to that Roth IRA that I was talking about earlier. So that's something, you want to, kind of forecast where you may potentially be based on where you are, in other words, right?
So that brings us to the next one, which is consider healthcare costs. Yeah. And I would say not even just healthcare, but you need to consider the rate of inflation. Everything is going to be increased later on. So you need to account for those increases.
Yeah, especially, healthcare in America is expensive, man. Like post-retirement for me, I've already looked into it. What I'm going to be paying for my premium in comparison to what I'm paying today for us, it's going to be 10x, right? But we factor that expense in or into our equation. So knowing what that's going to be like now, like if you are in a career right now where you may potentially not have, you know, the same premium as you currently have today post retirement, something to look into. Think about that, because you're gonna need health insurance as you get older in life. Your body again is depreciating, right? So you're gonna have health issues. I mean, as much as I try to take care of myself, that just comes with the territory of getting older. Your body's gonna, you know, start depreciating. So you want to have some insurance to help kind of weather that storm whenever these unexpected things occur in life when it pertains to your health, right?
Is it deteriorate?
Deteriorate, depreciate, whatever, man. Whatever words you want to. Tomato. Come on, man.
Okay, so the next one is review and adjust.
Yeah, review and adjust.
Okay, so we kind of already hit on that, so we're just going to go into the 6th, which is seek professional advice.
I want to hit on that, though.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, review and adjust. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what I get from review and adjust is, you know, like, let's say, for instance, you have one position. Let's say you're invested in the stock market, right? You have a brokerage account. You have a couple of different positions you're invested in, because we're going through this right now. So, you know, we have some positions. We've revealed one of our portfolios, by the way. We're going to talk about that real quick. So we have our joint account.
Right.
And we have, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, and Amazon. Those 5 positions in there. Well, Tesla and Apple currently haven't been doing as good this year due to, you know, macroeconomics, things of that nature. So what we've been doing is dollar cost averaging more money into those 2 positions. However, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft have been hitting like all-time highs this year, right?
So
and we've been invested, right? We've been invested in those positions, you know, for over a year and a day. So what we've been doing is taking profits and rebalancing our portfolio and putting those gains into those positions, Tesla and Apple, which are a little bit lower this year, right? Yeah. So it just makes sense to kind of, it just kind of makes sense to review and adjust and rebalance your portfolio, you know, whenever it presents an opportunity. That's just one example. So we had to touch on that. That was very important. We couldn't just blow past that.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we can talk about number 6.
All right.
Go ahead, baby.
The 6th one is seek professional advice. So if you're not one who's great with numbers, or you need a little bit of additional help planning for your future, there's people for that you can hire. There's professionals.
Yeah. You can delegate it.
Right.
You know, you can go to Edward Jones, things of that nature, you know, these fiduciaries, you know, people who have a fiduciary responsibility. And you're going to pay for that, though. Just know that. You're going to have a commission that you have to pay them. There's fees associated with that service. You know, but look, I'm going to tell you guys, like in today's age and society, man, like we have these tools, you know, these cell phones, you know, these smartphones. We have books. We have seminars we can go to, things of that nature. Like, just get educated and understand, like, because the way we operate, we want to understand how money works, and we want to understand how our money works,
and have control of our own portfolio, not put that control in somebody else's hands.
Exactly. You know, and so far we've been very successful. I'm gonna be honest. Like, our returns on the annual basis have been exceeding our goals, but also doing better than, like, you know, indexes like the S&P. We've been exceeding, you know, we beat the S&P, we beat the NASDAQ, we beat Dow Jones every year. Like, so that's kind of like a way you can measure how well you're doing based on your returns. Right. You know, it's not that difficult, guys, honestly, at least for us, you know. But again, it goes back to education. You know, you have to educate yourself. Stay a student. Like I mentioned earlier, stay a student. You know, man, there's so many like resources out there, you know, that are very credible that can help you and help you learn. You just got to take a little time out your day, allocate time out your day every day, and learn how to invest. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of a nerd with it. I love, you know, researching and learning about investing and things of that nature. Yeah. And then especially when I see the rewards, like for the time we invest in it on our education, we reap those benefits, you know, in monetarily, you know, based, you know, on how our performance of our portfolio is. So, yeah. So let's talk about this power of the compound interest real quick before we sign off.
So compound interest, I don't think we've mentioned that on the channel before. Maybe we have briefly. But it's basically interest that that's calculated on the initial principal and the accumulated interest. So it's basically your interest earning interest.
Right. Yeah, we've touched on it, but we'll touch on it again. So yeah, you know, so Man, we don't have the whiteboard. So anyway, so let's just, okay, $100. Let's just say you invest $100, right? You put $100 somewhere and it earns 10%, which is $10, right? So now you have $110, right? So let's say, you've earned the 10%, but now that 10% is working as well, right? Exactly. So now you have $110 working
instead of the 100.
Versus the 100. So now your interest is compounding interest, and that's what that basically means
in layman's terms.
In layman's terms, right? So you have interest working and earning interest. So
and there's calculators that you can use for free. If you Google compound interest calculator, the one that we use, what's that website called?
Yeah, I'm about to pull it up. Yeah, we use a compound interest calculator. That's just one tool you can use to help learn. It's called moneychimp.com. 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 And when you go there,
several of them. They're all the same, but that's just the one that we use all the time.
Yeah, I love using this tool, man. You basically will type in your current principal, whatever your balance is. Then you have your annual addition, what you're going to put in annually, how many years you plan on growing that money invested. Then you can type in an interest rate, if you want to be. We usually type in 10 to 15%, just being conservative, because we usually beat that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you just hit calculate, and then they'll give you an idea of what your future value may be. So use that, guys, moneychimp.com, and go to the compound interest calculator and use that tool to kind of help, just play with it. It's interesting to use. Just go in there and play with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So guys, look, retirement is a real thing. Unfortunately, some people may not ever see real retirement. They may have income they may have a retirement coming in, but they're still working, which we don't define as retirement. I just define that as supplement your income. Right. You're receiving a retirement from some previous employment of yours, but you're still working. So to us, that's not real retirement. So, if you're wanting to be truly retired, some of these 6 steps, these are things you're going to have to consider doing.
Yes. And just remember, you don't have to be a certain age to be
retired. It's not an age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't even have to meet a certain amount of years in your career necessarily, if you plan correctly.
Whoever came up with that, that's why I say I think a lot of stuff is made up nowadays. I'm just saying, a lot of things are made up to me to keep you distracted. You know what I'm saying? And whoever said 65 is the age of retirement, don't believe that. You don't have to be. We're not going to be 65 when we retire. I can tell you that for sure. I know for a fact we're not going to be that.
And
we'll probably be 20 plus years retired at 65.
Yeah.
We'll be 20 plus years retired. So based on our trajectory, right? Back to that compound interest calculator, right? We play with it. So we know where we are and where we're going to be. So.
And also really quick, there are some people that I know that are in their jobs, they're in their careers, and they've been there for 20 plus years, and they go to these retirement meetings to see okay, when is the day? What date do I have to walk out of here? And
they realize it's not enough, man.
Yeah.
That's happened quite a few.
They see the numbers and they're like, oh, I got to put in another 8 years, another 10 years because I'm not making enough after I step away from this job. So that's what we're talking about in this episode. We don't want that to be you.
No. And that's if you have some type of pension plan. Some careers may not even have that set up for you. At the end of the day, guys, you got to supplement your income through multiple streams of income, whether that be through real estate, stocks, investing in a separate brokerage from your job, things of that nature, man. You're going to have to do something else, even create a business, those are things you're going to have to consider doing.
Life insurance.
If you want true financial freedom. Yeah, life insurance is something, I think you should have life insurance. Let's talk about life insurance real quick. We have whole life insurance policies on each one of us. You can borrow from a whole life insurance policy. I believe it has a cash value that it builds up over time. That's something you can use to leverage. So we talked about that before, not on the channel, I don't think, but just with us.
Yeah, just leveraging we've talked about.
Yeah, but you want to have some life insurance because guess what? We all gonna die, right? That's like an easy thing to do, So if you don't have life insurance, consider getting it. There's term and there's whole life, I think the term, it fluctuates. Yeah, well, it goes up over time as you get older. Whole life usually, like whatever age you get it at. I think the younger you are, the less affordable it may be, right? Yeah, because as you get older, you're getting closer to death. So the premium is gonna. That's what I meant. Yeah, it's cheaper.
Right.
So if you're young, get some life insurance, man. While you're young, whole life if you can. As you get older, or just consider it. I'm not telling you to get whole life, but just consider it. Look into it if you don't have life insurance, because you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Unfortunately, we all gotta go. So, I
don't want people worried about collecting funds whenever it's time for me to die, making myself a burden even in death.
You want everybody, all your loved ones, to enjoy, celebrate your life and mourn. Not be worried about the finances of having to do whatever to do with you, whatever, your wishes are, you know what I'm saying? So
we're going to make that another episode because...
Yeah, that'd be a good topic to talk about, life insurance, life after life.
Right.
We're going to figure it out. We'll talk about it. But yeah, man, so look, guys, hey, get that retirement plan going. Comment below, what is your retirement plan? If you have one or if you don't have one. If this helped you, maybe consider getting one, things of that nature, man, because it's very important, guys. You don't want to have to work for the money all your life. One more quote I'm going to say before we sign off. Okay. If you never get your money to work for you, you're going to always work for it.
That's true.
So there you go. So just remember that. So anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, that's all.
Yeah. Got that new look, you know what I'm saying? Had to get the beard. It's summertime coming up.
This.
It's getting hot, man. You know what I'm saying? Got the hat ready. I'm ready for the sun. That way, my bald head don't get burnt. You know what I'm saying?
Looking like
get that hair on my face. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, summertime ready, baby. Yeah. So, anyways, catch y'all next week. Y'all have a good week. See y'all next week. Y'all take care.
Peace.